Welcome on the webinar called Overcoming Enterprise AI Content Creation Challenges. My name is Andrzej Krastina. I work as a developer advocate at CKEditor. And with me, I have Roman and Witek. So I will ask one by one to introduce themselves. So let's start with Roman. Roman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Roman, head of product at Tayuga. And this is like the parent company for CKEditor. And I've spent, I would say, maybe last 16, 17 years, so my entire career building content creation tools. And this is actually my fifth rich text editor. So happy to have you all here and welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to have the general knowledge in the place. And our second attendee, it's Witek. Witek, can you tell us something about you?
Hi, I'm Witek. I'm the technical product manager for CKEditor, working on CKEditor for around 3 years right now in the rich text editing area. Right now, focusing mostly on AI stuff, the interoperability of AI and content creation. Very happy to be here today and share some interesting facts with you guys.
Great. So I will pop up my helping presentation and I will tell you something about the structure and the agenda for the webinar today. So we'll start with me and doing a little bit of the intro, what the webinar is about, what was the previous webinar, and so on and so forth. Then we will have the general intro into generative AI from Roman. As you heard, he has the general knowledge in between the products and in between the rich text editors. So he will give us the general approach, how the generative AI works and what are his thoughts. Then we will switch to Witek, and he will go more of the actual gaps that we identified with the customers and with the discovery calls. And we will wrap it up with the actual solutions, how we can bridge these gaps. So this is the agenda. So I would start with a little bit of a wrap up. For the ones who don't know, CKEditor is a rich text editor. And the last time we had a little bit of a more technical approach and showcase what the CKEditor AI is. It's basically an add-on which seamlessly integrates into the CKEditor itself. From the user's perspective, it's basically these three groups of feature. First, AI chat. Second is AI quick actions. And the third is AI review. And the backend, you have a whole platform basing the editing experience on the collaboration engine that is already in the CKEditor itself. So if you're interested in more technical implementation, how to integrate it, feel free to go to CKEditor.com, open up resources and the events and webinars page. And the previous webinar is here to set. Also, if you want to play along after the webinar or just have a feeling how the CKEditor AI works, you can go to the demos. You will see the link in the chat because we have our MC Witek in the backstage, so he will be sending the links so that you don't need to rewrite them. So you can just open it up and play with the demo to get a feeling and grasp the the user experience of the CKEditor AI. With that, we will have these two sections, one from Roman, one from Witek. After that, we will have questions. If you have question, just pop it to the comments, and we will manage it at the end of the webinar. If there are some questions that are easily answerable by Witek, he will give you the answer right away. And with that, I would pass the stage to Roman, and Roman will tell you about the generative AI from his point of view. So see you in a bit, and Roman, stage is yours.
All right, thank you so much. So let's get started. But before Witek takes you through the, I would say, practical stuff, I want to talk a little bit about how we at CK think about GenAI and content creation, and about writing in particular, about, I would say, AI-assisted writing. So I'm going to use writing very, very broadly here. I mean, all kinds of documents, emails, notes in a CRM or CMS or LMS. So any text fields in some custom web application you build, like basically anything where you producing written text, so enriched with formatting, tables, media, etc. So to understand why GenAI matters so much for writing, I think we have to step back for a second and think about how fundamental writing actually is. So writing, and I don't think we appreciate this enough, is probably one of the most important skills our species has ever acquired. Like almost everything we care about depends on it. We create knowledge through writing. We learn by writing. This very webinar exists because of writing. So we created and edited a bunch of documents while preparing for it. So, and the same is true for every law that protects us, every scientific breakthrough that extends our lives, and every story that shapes how we see this world. And here's the thing that I find really, really interesting. So for centuries, ideas have always been debated and discussed and refined in conversations, but the actual act of writing has been this deeply individual thing. So at some point, one person had to sit down, face the blank page or blank screen, and turn thoughts into words and paragraphs. So completely alone. But over the past 3 years, everything has changed, and I'm pretty sure you've noticed this change. The act of writing, and honestly, even act of thinking, is never going to be the same, because now everyone who's turning thoughts into sentences has access to collaborator, unlike anything that existed ever existed. So this collaborator is obviously is generative AI, GenAI, LLMs. Look, in just 3 years, ChatGPT and its peers have reached hundreds of millions, even I would say billions of users. More than 10% of the world's adult population use ChatGPT alone. That doesn't include Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, and all the others. It's just one product. And the ecosystem of models and AI tools around all of this is reshaping how we work in a way that I think is really, really dramatic and happening incredibly fast. So according to OpenAI, we see that in just 1 year, work-related usage grew more than 3x. Microsoft also published a report showing that nearly half of the knowledge workers, of employees, and over 2/3 of leaders are now using GenAI weekly. But the most interesting fact we should pay attention to is actually quite remarkable. According to the recent How People Use ChatGPT paper published by OpenAI, I believe in September last year, in collaboration with the US National Bureau of Economic Research, close to 40%, just think about just literally 40% of all work-related AI messages in ChatGPT are actually writing tasks. So according to OpenAI, writing is the most common use case of GenAI at work. And to be honest, this makes perfect sense, because large language models are fundamentally writing engines. So look, GenAI is here. We all know this is going to change the way we work, the way we think, and the way we write. But then here's the problem. We have these incredibly powerful AI tools, and they are amazing at what they do, but the way most people actually use them at work is kind of broken, unoptimal, I would say. So the current workflows look something like this. So you are sitting in the CRM or your CMS or whatever business application you use. You got some text you need to work on. So what do? You copy it, you go over to ChatGPT or Claude, you pass it in, you brainstorm, you iterate, and finally you get something pretty good. So then comes the return trip. You copy the text again, you paste it back into your business application, and spend the next hour cleaning up the mess. So the formatting is gone, the tables are broken, the media images didn't make it, and you're just sitting there fixing some formatting. But to be honest, it goes much deeper than just formatting. When people are using these standalone AI tools, you lose a bunch of other things too. So first of all, the AI can't access your internal application database. Then you lose real-time collaboration, co-editing, comments, the permission from your web business application don't carry over. So you have got the security question. There is no audit trails, and then there is what people are calling shadow AI or bring your own AI. So employees using ungoverned tools and with all the, I would say, consequences like privacy leaks and compliance risks. And I think this is a really important moment to recognize that the problem is not the AI per se. So the AI is great. The problem is that it lives in the wrong place and it's disconnected from the place where the actual work happens. And the data really backs this up. So that back and forth between your business application and some standalone AI tools is just kills your momentum. It disrupts productivity. It creates room for mistakes. Knowledge workers don't want this AI sidekick that lives in a separate browser tab or separate application. They just want AI inside the place where they already work. McKinsey recently put out a report showing that 45% of people would use GenAI tools more frequently if they were just integrated into their daily workflows. And people also recognize that standalone AI lacks context, and it's pretty clear when AI is embedded within your regular apps and tools, it becomes far more efficient and more trustworthy. So I want to close my short introductory part with a few key suggestions. Embed AI to eliminate friction. Don't make people jump between tabs and copy paste and clean up formatting. Just put it right where your users already are. And I think the companies that figure this out are the ones that will definitely win. With this, Witek will take it from here and walk you through the more, I would say, practical part. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roman. And before we get to this next part, let me just ask you one question. Thanks for the intro and basically giving us the exact results of some surveys, because it's always nice to back the thing with the data. I have one question. What do you think is can be a hidden cost when employees are forced to switch in between their personal AI tools and their work systems? Do you see that there are some? Definitely it's security, but do you see some costs that can bring the company into some light?
Great question. I believe let me think for a minute. Not for a minute, I hope for a couple of seconds. The biggest hidden cost, I believe, is the context switching. So every time a user switches from the work app to standalone AI tab or app, they don't just lose seconds, they lose context. Another one, it's I don't have a proper name for this. I would say it's prompt text. So employees spend a surprising amount of time setting up AI interactions rather than kind of benefits from them. With the integrated tool, you have everything set it up. So kind of your users will spend much less time thinking about how to package this.
It makes sense because if you have a big company and you set it once, for all of the company, then nobody needs to set it up one by one and then reset it once they are coming back from the.
Yeah, and once again, I believe it's kind of invisible quality degradation related to context as well, because when AI doesn't have the, I would say, native access to the working documents, all the kind of knowledge base you have in your company, users just paste paragraphs or snippets of text instead of sharing like the whole knowledge base. So the AI output could be worse. The employee trust less. So kind of, and leadership blames AI, but it's not AI per se. It's kind of the workflow here.
Yes, understood. Perfect. So, let's bring Witek's part on the stage so that we have all of the context, and at the end of the presentation, we can go to the questions. Thanks, Roman. I will bring us down, and Witek, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Roman. Okay, let me switch the slides. Okay, so my part right now. Over the last few months, we've had a lot of conversations with enterprise teams, customers, prospects, and builders, trying to make sense of what AI means for their content products and platforms. So what I want to share today isn't a single customer story. It's kind of a pattern we keep hearing across enterprise teams. And the lens I want to use is gaps. So gaps in what teams expect and the reality they run into when they build their products with AI, or where they start and where they want to go, for example. I will walk through a few of those we see repeatedly on calls, basically to help you cross them sooner rather than later, especially when AI needs to enhance your existing product. So the first gap we'll go through, this is something I call the urgency gap, basically to do AI now versus the discipline to start with a real workflow. Many organizations have hard-earned lessons from big technological transitions that happened before, the internet, mobile, cloud. If you were late, it hurt, right? Like some companies went bankrupt when they weren't able to hop on the train of technology. So when AI shows up, the instinct is we can't be late in some cases. That creates real pressure from leadership, boards, and managers to move fast. Here is what we see in practice. Some teams come to us with a buzzword, we need AI. The conversations start at a very low technological layer, and within a few weeks, they have scattered pilots, but nothing that exactly ships value. The teams that make real progress do kind of the opposite. One top team we've spoken to multiple times didn't start with conversations with models or APIs. They've started with one concrete workflow where AI should appear in the product, what the user is trying to achieve, what good looks like, and how the human in the loop should work. Once that's clear, the technical choices get much easier, and the pilots turn into something you can actually measure and roll out. The second gap I want to show you is basically the trust gap. The demo can feel easy. You can always plug in the latest hype open source tools, but adoption depends on whether the platform is safe and compliant. Before you even get to use cases, the enterprises have table stakes for anything you bring in. Security, compliance, data handling, access control, and procurement requirements. If you can't clear those, it doesn't matter how good the output looks in a pilot. Basically, AI raises the stakes immediately. Data residency, retention, and audit logs. People need clear answers to where does our data go? Who can see it? Can we control it and audit it? What happens to our IP? Without that, the initiative either can start or it turns into constant back and forth, as you probably know, with risk and compliance teams. This is clear in the talks we also have. Like every single conversation I had with the enterprise team or enterprise product, it was always mentioning the air-gapped on-premises setup or access to your models and model providers. The next gap, and we go closer and closer to the product, is what I call breadth versus depth. General AI tools are very broad. They can help with almost anything. You can see those large providers experimenting here and there across different setups, like here is the language learning, here is writing email, right? But enterprise products win in depth, the specific rules, structure, and governance that make work correct, consistent, and compliant. In one meeting we had with an enterprise internal product team, even a quick overview of their workflows took minutes, right? Templates, required fields, approval steps, permissions, regulated language. And that was only the surface, right? Like we could have spent hours on it. They were also quite clear. They said that buying every employee a ChatGPT license is not a strategy. It doesn't plug into workflow, what we've previously said with Roman and Andre. It doesn't enforce the rules, and it doesn't produce the output you can consistently ship. Depth means kind of AI experience that has to understand and respect your product's reality, your content types and templates, your terminology, your brand voice, your data, right? Like otherwise you get the output that's fine English, like AI is perfect in correcting our typos, but for the wrong job, like generic, inconsistent, and risky. Another gap shows up when teams try to move from we can call a model, like they try to move from we can call a model to we can deliver a repeatable workflow with good user experience. And as a product manager, I get it. Like starting with APIs from top vendors is a very rational first steps. The easiest move is to wire up a backend call, get a response, put it in a demo, and celebrate because it works. But that's just the starting point. The real value isn't in the model core API call, is the workflow around the content. How users create it, how do they refine it, how do they review it, approve it, and publish with confidence. So value lives in the end-to-end experience and not in data in, data out chain. A real-world pattern we hear is a team gets a backend prototype working in a few weeks, an endpoint that can generate a fresh template, for example. It works until they move to the editing layer. The model call was the easy part. The in-editor product workflow is where the effort explodes. And I will get back to that in a second. So maybe just a quick recap what we've went through so far, the gaps that we've had. So we had the speed gap. Everyone feels the urgency to move fast, but speed without directions like could create the scattered pilots. So the way forward is try to shorten your time to set up by picking good tools, one real workflow, define what success looks like, and scale from there. The trust, so you can't get adoption if compliance blocks you. That means choosing an enterprise-grade compliance-ready solutions from day one with security, data residency, and audit trails baked in, not bolted on later. Breadth versus depth. General AI tools do a bit of everything, but your workflow demands depth. You know what you need, basically. So maybe don't waste time for general tooling for all of the employees and just try to build it yourselves in your tools if you are an internal product. And also engage your clients and users if you have an external product to build AI into your product. And API versus flows, calling the model is easy part. The hard part is everything around it. The in-product UX, the editing layer, those take years to build, right? Like work with partners who've already done that so you can focus on your domain. I want to still focus a bit more on this last piece, APIs versus flows, because there are some interesting complexities hiding there. So as I've said before, generating a brand new document is the easy part. The hard part is when you have already content and you want to work, like you want AI to work inside it. Change a specific paragraph, preserve formatting, update one section, or propose edits as suggestions so humans can review. As one engineer we've talked to, put it, basically we hit a wall when we try to apply AI changes to real documents. And that's natural, right? That's not a simple feature. It's very deep editor work. You are dealing with multiple formatting elements, selections and structure, track changes and comments, multiple people editing at once if you have real-time collaboration, undo and redo flows. And it all has to feel natural for the users and safe. If you try to build those lower layers from scratch, it can consume a team for months, if not years. So the key decision here is building editor foundations really your core product, or would you rather focus on your domain value? And here's a bonus slide that only a small fraction of teams see coming. Even if you try solving the front-end experience, the backend is also surprisingly complex. As we know, and we've built probably tools and products for years, nothing is simple, right? Like most teams start with thinking backend AI means calling an API, but in production, it's much, much more. Evaluations, right? Like you need a test set to test new models and catch regressions before they reach users. Context. Okay, there is some question about first slide. Let me check quickly. I see slide 14. Andre, are we good?
I think we are good. We'll handle it. Let's move on, continue, and we will take care of it in the chat.
Thank you, Anna, for highlighting that. So we've stopped at evaluations, and basically you need a test set for testing new models that come out. Like probably the screenshot I have is already outdated, right? Like we have new models as we started this webinar. So we need to catch regressions before they reach users. Context, the users need to access more and more information, your knowledge base, systems, tools. That's where the MCP tooling comes in. Permissions, who can use which models, like which features, which data sources. This needs to align with existing access controls. And the whole evolution, right? Like the models change, providers change, capabilities expand. You need a setup that evolves without rewriting your product each time. We learn those lessons the hard way. That's why we provide and give the in-product editing experience plus a backend AI service layer built for exactly those challenges. We maintain evaluation suites. MCP connections are coming soon to our platform as well. And we provide the infrastructure to scale safely so we can focus on domain and not reinvent the underlying AI platform as well. So to wrap up, here's the takeaway across all of the gaps. AI is incredibly impressive in a pilot. That's good. Like you can wire up a model, generate something in seconds, and it feels like you've solved it. In enterprise, the hard work starts after the demo, right? At scale, these aren't separate problems. They compound trust, governance, quality, domain context, and a consistent experience inside real workflows. It's not one capability. It's a system people can rely on every day at scale of sometimes hundreds and thousands of users. And that's the thread across all these gaps we've covered, like moving from AI next to the product to AI inside the product, grounded in your domain and your standards, can be faster and easier with help. If you need to get inspired, check out our demos. There is also a previous webinar that Andre mentioned at the beginning, which describes our features in depth. And maybe a quick plug to close. If any of those gaps sounded familiar, we are also open for partnerships, like not as one of integration, but as a foundation you can evolve on, like starting from your existing workflows and moving toward a reliable editing experience connected to an AI layer that keeps improving over time. So if you want, please reach out after the webinar. I would love to meet with you. We have a tech team that would also love to hear your workflows and technical setups. and understand your constraints and iterate with you on the right setup for your workflows, from the editor experience all the way to your product foundations. Okay, thank you very much. That's my part.
Perfect. I'm just bringing us all together. There we are. Thanks for inviting, for partnering with us. We had the issue with Anna. She already confirmed that turning it off and on did the trick. We will follow up with the recording where the slides should be in line. So we will follow up the email with all of the information. So if you want to get back, you will get to it, as well as if you want to just walk through the recording from the video, you can do it as well. So with that, I had one question. Let me think for a second. Yes, I wanted to ask you, Witek, because you mentioned a lot of things that were hard to build in the CKEditor AI. There were some challenges. What was the most complex thing when you were putting together the CKEditor AI that was surprising for you, or something like that, that if you want to, I don't know, build it yourself, you didn't, or at the beginning, you didn't really think of these challenges?
I think for us, it was some kind of interoperability of our systems. I'm a PM that is mostly focused on this editor part, right? And it's obvious that you are very deep into your own layer, and you need to understand sometimes it's a harsh reality that your layer won't be enough to achieve success. So for the editor and CKAI in this part is that what we've realized is that to achieve a really good quality of the changes that the editor can apply, how to show them to the users so that users are not surprised what the AI is changing, you do not only need the editor part, you need this like foundational backend layer that helps to achieve those results. Like it's not only Frontend that does the colorful magic. There is a lot of things that are happening underneath the hood. And our engineers are doing a real great job to stay on the edge and basically allow everything to happen from the backend, right? Like, and that I think was quite challenging. Like, get those layers right. Like, how does the editor communicate with the backend? What backend changes so that the editor understands it well? That's the real. That was a real struggle. Took us time, but the results are very impressive. So yeah, that's something that I would answer to that question.
Yeah. So this brings me to the follow-up question. I think I already know the answer, but when you are putting together the CKEditor AI on some specific workflow, what are you focusing on first? On the backend setup, or to provide the user the front-end capabilities as quick as possible, let's say in some limited way, and then go deeper on the backend part? Like, I don't know, generating the reports automatically, or like seeing being generated and basically showcase the visual parts of the report, how it's being done?
I think the classic answer, it depends. But, if you are doing that, like if you need to do something for your product, and I hope I will reiterate on that and maybe strengthen the message. Like, it's okay to use AI APIs, right? And do the stuff and work within your product and do the low-hanging fruits exercise, right? Like, we have this template that takes an employee 2 hours to just get the starting point, right? Like, obviously use the backend part first, right? Like, speed up the stuff on the backend, but the main realization is that it never ends there for content creation tools, right? Like, it's always more complex than just like create the first draft. And we know this, we build this product. Probably the intuition also tells us that, like, the first draft is like 5% of the work, right? Like, whenever we do write some, I know, emails or something like that, that's the easy part. The other 95%, it's just refining, refreshing. And I would say that works well for this, like, what we are trying to do with content creation. Backend is fine. Do it, test it out. checks what works and what not. The other 95%, if you have a very complex content workflows, that may need the human and the editor part as well.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, because I'm getting this a lot on the conferences because if people see the demo and they can go to the website and just play with the features. If you get the look and feel, and if you are the end user, it's all good, right? But if you are the developer and you are on the developer conference, people are asking, hey, how can I configure it? How can I bend it? How can I, extend this and that functionality? And then when the fun starts, right? So the platform has to be ready for that, and you can extend it later on once you get to the workflow, right?
And I've missed the second part I wanted to mention, because also maybe you have some product managers, business leaders here on the call that need to make decisions. Where do we go next? I also want to make sure that it's okay to start with technology. And it was the same with the internet era, right? It was good when mobile, and you just wanted to create an app, right? What the app should do, just create an app. And when those big technological breakthroughs come, like AI is for sure one. I think we've already know that for the past 3 years that it's huge technological breakthrough. It's fine to start with technological awareness, right? What can it really do? It can generate text, great, and then move to the problems, right? But the problems needs to be there. When we try to design the new features for the CKEditor AI, there is this back and forth. Okay, technology can do that, but does the user really need it? If they need it, what's the context, right, that they need it? So it's okay to be in this game of what's possible, what's the problem, what's possible, what's the problem, and that's totally natural, I would say, when you are building your products.
Yes. So I'm slowly blinking to our chat. It's still fairly empty on the questions. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Just shoot it there. If we have the answer, we will answer it right away. If we don't, which can happen, right? We will definitely get back to you with a follow-up email. So if you have some, just put some. I have one question that I made throughout Roman's presentation, and that was the thing that can happen to the big enterprises if they just wait and see. Because I saw it as well when I was working with multiple companies. You don't install your new software when it's 0.0. You don't install version 11.00. You're waiting once there is 2-3 hotfixes, once it's stable, and so on and so forth. Roman, what do you think can happen if people or companies can wait for 6 to 12 months to wait for another release or for some stable release, or wait for the new model to come and then jump on the trade? Do you see some problems or risks if the people don't jump on this train, or at least do some POCs around? And I think you're muted.
Yes, I believe I was muted. Yeah, I said that there is a feeling that you want for me to create some kind of FOMO here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
FOMO is there, Roman. Don't worry.
Yeah, no questions here. So I believe in the next 6 to 12 months, but I would say more like the next 12, 24 months, because we're talking about here about technology diffusion. It naturally takes some time, but in the next year or two, the competitors who integrate AI into their core workflows will start compounding productivity gains. So daily, day by day. So it's about faster decision making, about better knowledge retrieval, because they will experiment, they will spend, they will test it, and so on. They will test it with their real users. So that not naturally, but there is a better possibility that they come to the more efficient content production. So these advantages aren't linear as a share, they're compounding. So by the time you decided kind of move from wait and see to see and act, I believe that this gap actually will not be just 12 months of progress. It will be 12 months of compounding progress. So when you will kind of start, it will take some time for additional ramp up, time to catch up. So it could be costly.
And it definitely bounds to the Witek parts. Like, don't start with just plugin AI. Think about workflow first, and then try to integrate it with AI, because the other way around, it's nice.
Yeah, what I think can happen is that obviously you will see the competitors, right, like catching up, and maybe they have something that you do not have in your platform or product. But I think there's what you will also observe is that the users will start to decide with their clicks, right, and where do they go, what do they use. I know everyone has this FOMO, right? You see this, your friend at your workplace is suddenly Bob is hitting up 5 emails more than you every day, and those are perfect emails with perfect context, and you are like, how the hell does he do that? Like what's happened, right? And I think we observe it in our workplaces. We'll soon observe it in the tools that the users are trying to incorporate into their workflows. If this part is not in your tool, the users will figure it out, right? It's basically, they will start to use their own ChatGPT. Vibe coding is crazy lately. Maybe they will start building the subset of your tooling on the side and connect to your API, but basically to have their problem solved faster, right? So a lot of interesting things can happen around this whole transition, for sure.
Yeah, I agree here. Like this idea that in future we'll not compete with AI potential in nearest future, but we will compete with people with AI. So yeah, it's about diffusion, it's about adoption, it's about finding a way where AI can deliver the increased efficiency, for instance. So yeah.
So to wrap it up, we have said that you should think about the workflows. Once again, we are very interested in your content workflows, so contact us on CKEditor.com. I didn't see the questions in the chat. Once again, if you have some questions later on, use the same form and ask us. Let us know. We will be sending the follow-up email. You can reply to it and be in touch. And I would move on because we are closely getting to the end of hour. I don't want to artificially prolong the webinar. But I would like to invite you to a new one, which will be more technical. So it will be more of my domain a little bit. We will talk with Martin Dusha, who was working as a product manager on AI on the backend side or the backend platform. And we'll be talking about how to hook your custom LLM and how to register the MCP tools into the CKEditor.ai. So if you're interested, just share or like scan this QR code or click on the link that you have currently in chat. Yes, Witek, thank you for helping us with that. And yeah, it will be on 9th of April, the same time as this one. And if you want to stay in touch, you can just go to CKEditor.com and you can subscribe to any of the channel. We are publishing everything on YouTube, everything on LinkedIn, as well as we are keeping these webinars coming. Thanks, Roman. Thanks, Witek, for putting up everything all at one place. I know it's a lot of information. It takes a lot of time to set up the webinar, but I think now once we have this base, we can share it, and hopefully people in enterprises can use these slides and these resources, to build a case on like integrate AI into their content workflow. Thanks everybody who joined. For the ones who didn't join and see us from the recording, I hope that you will like it. This webinar will be accessed. We will open up the download or the rewatch capabilities soon. And with that, thank you very much and see you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.